Love triangles have always been one of the deadliest sparks behind domestic crimes. Each person involved carries hidden motives, and from those motives, a web of lies begins to form, so tangled that even the most skilled investigators struggle to find the truth. The death of someone we love is always a tragedy. But in the world of crime, detectives know a painful reality. Even the most convincing tears can be nothing more than a mask, carefully staged to cover guilt. And this is not just theory. It happened in the life of one man whose story shocked an entire community. He had everything: love, friendship, success, and the admiration of those around him. On the surface, his life looked perfect. But beneath that image, dark secrets were brewing, and a deadly trap was being set. That man was Jamie Faith. To friends, he was warm and trustworthy. To neighbors, he embodied the American dream. Yet fate would drag him into a twisted web of passion, betrayal, and murder. A crime so brutal, it left everyone asking, who could want Jamie dead? And why? Stay with us as we uncover how a marriage that seemed built on love turned into a nightmare that ended in bloodshed, deception, and shocking betrayal. Jamie Faith was born in Madison, Wisconsin, on May 11, 1971. After graduating high school in 1994, he immediately pursued a bachelor's degree in computer science at university. He successfully graduated and spent several years working as a software engineer in his hometown, where he was recognized for his professionalism. He was a hardworking individual who frequently informed his family that he did not want to get married or have children. While he had many friends and was generally sociable, Jamie struggled in romantic relationships. However, those who knew him well described him as a decent, family-oriented man, friendly, warm-hearted, and an animal lover. In the fall of 2005, at the age of 34, Jamie traveled to Arizona, where he met Jennifer, a healthcare administrator. They hit it off immediately, talking late into the night, and their relationship quickly blossomed. Jamie moved to Arizona shortly after meeting Jennifer and easily bonded with her 8-year-old daughter, Amber. As their relationship grew, Jamie advanced professionally at American Airlines. Their life together appeared to be flourishing. Jamie has built a good relationship with both Jennifer and Amber, treating the girl like a daughter. He contrasted sharply with Jennifer's previous partner, Amber's biological father, who had abandoned her when he learned of the pregnancy. Jennifer described her former partner as abusive and cruel, often instilling fear in her. After years together, Jamie and Jennifer decided to marry in Las Vegas in the summer of 2012. By 2017, they had been together for 12 years, of which 5 were as a married couple. Jamie landed a new high-level position at American Airlines, which required them to move from Arizona to Texas. They settled in Dallas and began building a new home in the Oak Cliff area of California, just 11 kilometers from the city, which Jamie believed was the perfect place to live. They are loved by the community, often hosting barbecues for the neighbors. Jamie remained a hard-working and kind person who enjoyed walking his dog each day. By October 2020, Jamie and Jennifer had been married for 8 years and had lived in their home for over 3 years. They celebrated their 15th anniversary since meeting with a special dinner on October 8. The next morning, Friday, October 9, 2020, Jamie, now 49, was preparing for work around 7:30 a.m. He took his beloved dog for a short walk, which was part of his daily routine. On this morning, however, an unforeseen tragedy awaited him. In the usually quiet neighborhood, there were few people out, and their house had security cameras that captured Jamie and Jennifer leaving with the dog. Unbeknownst to them, this walk would mark the final moments of Jamie's life. A black pickup truck was parked on the opposite side of the road when a stranger wearing a blue mask suddenly got out. He quickly raised a gun and aimed it at Jamie Faith. Everything happened in an instant. Jamie barely had time to react and was caught off guard. The assailant fired a pistol, emptying the magazine. Out of 9 shots, 7 bullets struck Jamie. After the gunshots rang out, women's screams echoed throughout the area. Neighbors from nearby homes ran out and saw Jennifer standing next to Jamie, looking horrified. Instead of fleeing, the attacker targeted Jennifer next. He knocked her to the ground, bound her wrists with duct tape, and attempted to remove her wedding ring. Their dog attacked the attacker, but he quickly fought back. By this time, several neighbors had gathered, watching the harrowing scene unfold. When the attacker noticed the witnesses, he stopped his assault, jumped back into his black pickup truck, and sped away. Meanwhile, multiple residents called the local police to report the incident. Emergency vehicles arrived quickly, but it was too late. Medics pronounced Jamie dead at the scene. He had been hit 3 times in the face, 3 times in the chest, and once in the stomach. He bled to death within minutes, and the autopsy later revealed that half of his wounds were fatal, indicating that the assailant was likely skilled with firearms, possibly having a military or law enforcement background. Jamie lost his life on October 9, 2020, just 10 meters from his front door, sending shockwaves through the neighborhood. Forensic teams began examining the area immediately. While detectives started gathering details about the incident, Jennifer, although largely unharmed, was in shock and received medical attention. The tape used to bind her wrists was sent for analysis. Despite not suffering physical harm, the community was concerned for Jennifer, who had witnessed her husband's murder. Through her tears, she spoke to the police, describing her attacker as a man in a blue mask, who opened fire on Jamie without warning. After running out of bullets, he tied her hands and forcibly took her wedding ring before fleeing in his truck. Most houses in the area were equipped with surveillance cameras, and neighbors were willing to share footage with the police. Although they couldn't identify the shooter, the truck was of particular interest. Even though the license plate was not visible, the make was recognizable, and a distinctive letter T on the rear window resembled the emblem of the Texas Rangers baseball team. When asked about anyone she knew who might be a fan, Jennifer struggled to recall. In her grief, Jennifer appeared on television, pleading for the killer to turn himself in. Later, she returned to the police station for further questioning. She broke down in tears and had difficulty communicating but then calmed down and provided more information. She noted she could see the killer's dark eyes through the mask and described his clothing and the sequence of the attack. After he bound her hands with tape, he hit her in the face, a detail corroborated by witnesses who had rushed to the scene. All that remained on Jennifer's body was a small abrasion. Jennifer insisted that the attack appeared to be an attempted robbery. However, there were several inconsistencies with this theory, particularly regarding the timing and the attacker's behavior. The suspect did not appear to be trying to conceal his actions, making it unlikely that this was a standard robbery. This raised questions about his true intentions. The police found it hard to believe that he would spontaneously choose to rob a couple while driving through a residential area, especially since they were just taking a walk with their dog. The attacker appeared overly prepared and unafraid, suggesting that his main target was Jamie, while the attempted theft of the ring and assault on Jennifer might have been a cover for his real motives. After the attacker shot Jamie, it seemed clear that he had a personal motive, especially since he didn't shoot Jennifer. As a result, Jennifer was re-interrogated. It was suggested that Jamie had made a dangerous enemy, though their identity remained unknown. Jennifer explained that she and Jamie had been happy together and celebrated their 15th anniversary just a day before his death, which was a joyous occasion for them. She described Jamie as a loving and calm person, making it hard to believe he had such a serious adversary. Following this, she and her daughter, Amber, set up a GoFundMe page to seek financial assistance for the funeral. As a housewife, Jennifer was facing significant financial challenges. The initiative quickly gained support, raising over $60,000 in a short time. Neighbors also helped by providing food. Jennifer shared her harrowing experience with the media, expressing hope that the killer would be caught soon. With the funds, she organized 2 funeral services for Jamie, one in Dallas and another in Phoenix. Meanwhile, Detectives were diligently working to find the perpetrator. They discovered .45 caliber shell casings at the crime scene, along with Scotch tape and bullets removed from Jamie's body, which were sent for analysis. Review of surveillance footage was prioritized. They found a video taken a few hours before the attack, showing an unknown man walking near the fence of Jamie's home and appearing to survey the area. His attire closely matched that of the man who later shot Jamie and attacked Jennifer. His suspicious behavior led detectives to rule out the possibility of an accidental shooting. He clearly had an interest in Jamie's family, raising questions about his connection to them. In their search for clues, detectives requested Jennifer's mobile phone and her husband Jamie's phone. While Jamie's phone contained no significant information, suggesting he had no known conflicts, Jennifer's phone contained a suspicious text message sent weeks before the murder. In that message, she talked about a man named Darren, and the context suggested that their relationship was more than just casual friends. When contacted, this friend confirmed that they had heard about the possibility that Jennifer was romantically involved with someone else, but did not provide any further details. Law enforcement wanted to learn more about Darren Lopez, a 48-year-old Army veteran who had served in Iraq and Afghanistan. At the time of the murder, he was divorced and living alone on a farm in Cumberland Furnace, Tennessee, a small community, nearly 1,000 kilometers from Dallas. It raised questions when investigators discovered that Jennifer had been discussing Darren shortly before Jamie's death. They decided to explore the connection between Darren and Jennifer. It turned out that Darren and Jennifer were not just acquaintances. They had dated in high school and attended prom together. They continued their relationship into college until Darren's military service interrupted it. By that time, they had even talked about marriage. But they hadn't seen each other for decades, since their youth. After leaving the military in 2017 and subsequently divorcing his wife, Darren found himself isolated on his farm. He struggled to connect with his 4 children due to his military duties, which included a traumatic incident where he sustained a serious head injury from a bomb explosion. He became increasingly withdrawn and suffered from depression and post-traumatic stress disorder, worsened by financial struggles. To combat his loneliness, Darren started reconnecting with old friends online, including Jennifer. By late 2020, he reached out to her for the first time, and they quickly began chatting multiple times a day. Their conversations started off casually, reminiscing about the past. After about a month, Darren expressed that he had always cared for Jennifer, and she seemed to reciprocate his feelings. Their discussions became more personal, including sharing photos and talking about a potential future together on his farm, which raised suspicions among investigators. Detectives then noticed Darren's black Nissan pickup truck was the same make and model as the vehicle seen in CCTV footage near the crime scene. Alarmingly, the day before the murder, on October 8, 2020, Darren informed his family that he was going hunting. He drove 1,000 kilometers to Dallas in just 12 hours, which was verified by his car's navigation system and traffic cameras. He arrived in Oak Cliff early on the morning of October 9. After comparing photos, investigators found that Darren closely resembled a man seen looking through the fence at Jamie's home. During the 7 months prior, Darren and Jennifer communicated regularly, exchanging over 40,000 text messages and hundreds of hours of phone calls. However, Jennifer had deleted this data from her phone, making it difficult for investigators to retrieve it. While Darren's phone retained all the information, detectives continued to delve into their relationship, which appeared increasingly relevant to the case. Notably, just 28 hours after Jamie's murder, Jennifer and Darren met. Alarmingly, Jennifer sent Darren a text warning him that the police were suspicious and that they had obtained a description of him and his vehicle. She advised him to remove a decal of his favorite baseball team, which he did promptly. Before meeting Darren, detectives spoke with people who knew him. Many immediately confirmed that he had been driving with the sticker for a long time, but it had disappeared after the shooting of Jamie. The police arranged to meet Darren after discovering he owned a registered .45 caliber pistol. They executed a search warrant and found the weapon, which was sent for ballistics testing, as well as a blue mask matching eyewitness descriptions. Further analysis confirmed that this gun was used to shoot Jamie. In Darren's car, they also found several credit cards belonging to Jennifer. After reviewing the transactions, it became evident that Jennifer had been financially supporting Darren for a long time. She also bought him expensive electronic devices, a plane ticket, so he could go on vacation with the children, and asked him not to refuse anything. It emerged that Jennifer had misused funds raised on GoFundMe to support Darren and had not paid for Jamie's funeral, leaving the debt in her name. This revelation shocked the public, leading GoFundMe to offer refunds to donors once they learned of Jennifer's deceit. Darren Lopez was arrested on January 11, 2021, while playing tennis at home, and he was charged with first-degree murder. When questioned, Jennifer denied any involvement in the crime. However, her actions suggested she was more cunning than Darren. Despite being caught in lies, after Jamie's death, she distanced herself from others and refused to comment about her connection to Darren, contrasting sharply with her previous emotional interviews. Despite Darren's arrest, Jennifer continued to communicate with him, using a third party to send messages to him in prison. Several of these messages were intercepted, revealing her declarations of love for him and her commitment to support him. This behavior raised suspicions among detectives that she may have played a role in planning the crime, especially since Jamie held a life insurance policy worth $628,000, of which Jennifer was the sole beneficiary. Notably, this policy was issued only months before his death. While Darren was in custody, investigators seized Jennifer's cell phone, computer, and laptop, further corroborating their suspicions of her involvement in the murder plot. They discovered that she had created a fake account to communicate with Darren in order to confuse the investigation. She misled Darren with stories of ongoing abuse from Jamie, claiming he had physically harmed her and her daughter. She sends Darren pictures of injuries allegedly caused by Jamie, attempting to stir up hatred towards Jamie and justify her actions. Detectives looked into these statements, but none of Jamie's friends confirmed that he was abusive. They described Jamie as a friendly and peaceful person. Jamie's family was bewildered by these allegations and vehemently denied them. They did not understand why Jennifer stayed with Jamie for 15 years if she believed he was an abuser. Darren received photos through a fake account that Jennifer claimed were of her injuries. None of the photos showed her face, and she had not reported any incidents of domestic violence to the police. Some of the images were publicly accessible online, and her computer's search history showed she had looked them up. This was all part of a manipulation intended to convince Darren to kill Jamie. Even in prison, Darren believed Jennifer's lies until his lawyer presented evidence proving the photos were fake. Amber, Jennifer's daughter, also stated that Jamie had never harmed her. Darren was devastated to learn he had killed an innocent person, which destroyed his family. Fortunately, Darren started to speak out. He shared that in August 2020, he met Jennifer in person, and there, she asked him to kill Jamie. They carefully planned the attack. With Jennifer devising the main scenario, he executed the plan but arrived in Dallas earlier than expected, which led to him being captured on surveillance cameras near Jamie's house. Jennifer was arrested in February 2021, just a month after Darren. She was initially charged with obstructing justice but faced first-degree murder and solicitation of murder charges by September 2021. She denied her guilt and asserted that Darren was motivated by jealousy. However, the accumulating evidence against her led to her facing the death penalty. After months in jail, Jennifer decided to tell the truth when offered a plea deal that would reduce her sentence to life in prison for incitement to murder. She confessed that her accusations against Jamie about abuse were false, bringing relief to his family, who wanted to clear his name. On February 22, 2022, Jennifer Faith was sentenced to life in prison without parole as part of the deal. Following this, other men who had been involved with Jennifer spoke out, including Rick, who had dated her before Jamie. He recognized her manipulative nature, remembering how she had falsely accused Jamie of abuse while attempting to persuade him to take out a life insurance policy. Realizing the danger he had escaped, Rick described Jennifer as the most evil and greedy person he knew. In June 2023, Darren Lopez's trial began. Unlike Jennifer, he maintained his innocence, claiming he was manipulated by her. Evidence presented included false photos and statements alleging abuse by Jamie. Darren claimed he wanted to help Jennifer escape her troubled life, asserting that their relationship was purely friendly. His lawyer cited his post-traumatic stress disorder and a head injury from the Iraq War as contributing factors. The judge responded to the defense by stating that killing Jamie was unnecessary. Darren could have contacted law enforcement, who would have investigated the situation. He considered other options, suggesting that Jennifer run away with him, but she insisted that Jamie would keep pursuing her. Under her pressure, Darren ultimately agreed to eliminate Jamie. Attempts by Darren and his attorney to portray him as a victim were unsuccessful. At 51 years old, Darren was sentenced to 6 years in prison, with the possibility of parole in 2051.